welcome to our interview with Rob Kenny, who just has returned from his fabulous wedding to his partner Shane in the south of France. It was the wedding of the summer. We saw so many beautiful pictures coming through, and we're just delighted to have him here in studio with us today. So, Rob, tell us about, first off, let's start with the proposal. Tell us about the proposal.
The proposal. Yeah, it was me. Shock, it was me, because no one ever thinks it was going to be me, because if you meet Shane and I'm the gayer gay. So like one would almost have assumed that Shane was going to get down on one knee. Ironically, he actually was planning it for that Christmas, but I beat him to it. So that the August, we went out. Our favourite place in the whole world is Antibes in the south of France. So I rented a boat and we were sailing around the Cap to Antibes. And I was so nervous. It's the most terrified I've ever been. Even though you know they're going to say yes. Like, I was with him 6 years at the time. Like, of course he was going to say yes. But you just want to get it right. So it's terrifying. And the captain of the boat, I had the most exquisite lunch booked afterwards in Eden Rock in the Cap to Antibes, and they were like ready to welcome the boat and like all celebratory. And the captain was like, "Rob, like we have to go to Eden Rock," and I still hadn't done it. And then this song came on from Gladiator, which is like our song. It's actually the song Shane walked down the aisle to in the end. And it weirdly finally gave me the courage. It was like a sign when the song came on. And Shane was like climbing up the back of the boat, and I just got down on one knee, and he was like, "What is going on?" He was like hanging off the ladder, and I was like just kind of hovering. I didn't even really make it down on one knee. It was more a hover. And then the ring came out, and I just started.
Choopy?
That actually was the wedding ring.
Okay.
The engagement ring is Appleby.
Okay,
just off Grafton Street. Yeah. So now we stacked them together.
Lovely.
And then, I blurted out some lines about like, "You're the love of my life, you're my best friend." And then we just started pissing ourselves laughing and hugging and kissing.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Oh, so what happened then? You obviously went and had a lovely lunch at Eden Rock, and then did you pretty much launch immediately into a conversation about what you were going to do next, or like how it was going to look, how that wedding was going to be?
Yeah, so we were obviously on cloud nine, and I had our favourite day in Antibes planned, because we go like every year, so we know it inside out. So we went from lunch in Eden Rock to cocktails on the terrace in Bellerive, looking out across the sea towards Cannes, and then dinner that night in this exquisite restaurant called Mamo. So I had the whole day planned. Before we started really getting into the nitty gritty of the wedding, it was that buzz of calling your best friends, your family,
sweet.
All the FaceTimes.
Yeah, and had you a best friend kind of knowing that you were going to do it? Like, did you tell anyone? Did you, was there anyone who was like kind of poised, waiting?
No one. I was this
yourself.
silent
so
weirdo. Yeah.
You
well,
just
Kate
had it in your
Appleby
mind.
of Appleby Jewelers knew.
Yeah.
And no, I honestly told no one. And I had the ring hidden in my shoe flying over to France.
So sweet.
Yes, kept it all to myself.
So then you spent a holiday in France, and when you came back, then when you were sort of even after the proposal, were you like, "Oh, it'd be nice to come back here and get married," or had that seed not been planted yet? Had you not quite come there? Because obviously you said to me earlier you had your possibility of Portugal as another possibility. Your parents lived there, so how did you come to the south of France as a venue, as a location?
So we viewed 14 venues in Portugal, because my parents live in a place called Quinta do Lago in the Algarve in Portugal. So we almost just fell in line. The fact that they lived there, like we definitely thought Portugal from the outset. Viewed like 14 venues, like I said. And then it was just like, it didn't feel right. We kind of settled on one, and it just didn't feel right. That gut feeling of like, this is the one. We both, like, after a few glasses of wine one day, we were like, this isn't it. And then Shane was like, Antibes is our place. Like, what? Like, Antibes is our place. Like, F your family for a minute. And why are we not doing this in Antibes? Like, it's our place. So we scrapped everything and started again and started the search in Antibes. And
how did you come up with, how did you find the Bastide du Roi, which is stunning, by the way?
Yeah, so Googling like a lunatic. We'd no wedding planners yet at this point. So Googling like a lunatic, Bastide du Roi comes up. It was actually the only like exquisite venue with the address of Antibes. There's obviously ones like a 40-minute bus away, a 35-minute bus away, like loads of gorgeous options. Bastille de Roy was the most gorgeous option, though, I have to say. And then the fact that it was the only Antibes one, I kind of knew going on our trip to view venues in the Riviera that Bastille de Roy was number one. We did view like 5 or 6 venues, but as soon as we did the tour of the Bastille de Roy, like we just knew. It was like literally Shane just kept laughing because I was just like this Cheshire cat smile, like going around smiling ear to ear. And then when we were getting the tour, like Bastille de Roy literally means estate of the king. So it was a French royal residence. Then obviously they got like beheaded and that was gone. And it kind of went into rack and ruin for a while then. And then you won't believe who bought it. The French designer Lanvin.
Amazing.
Oh, so when the tour guide said this, Shane looked at me and was pissing myself. I was like, and he said he knew that was the clincher. Like, I'm never getting him to say no to this venue. And yeah, we just started the negotiations. Like, I think honestly, at the end of the tour, sorry, it was the end of the tour. We signed at the end of the tour.
You just knew at that point.
Yeah.
And when you knew, and obviously being a stunning heritage venue, at the same time, there was nothing there. As you said, you had to bring everything in. So essentially, you were kind of just buying a beautiful site, or you were renting a beautiful site. Everything else, explain what happened next. Explain how that all came together, because I know it was a massive production.
So that you only figure out later, obviously. Bastille du Roy is one of those, like, you could call it like a shell. It's your venue, obviously. But when I say every teaspoon, every candle, every light hanging, the dance floor, like, you have to bring in everything, every chair, every flower. Like, it's a breathtaking backdrop, obviously. Like, you've the most incredible surroundings, gardens, building to lean into, but you have to bring in everything. So it was a mammoth event management task.
Mammoth task. It's amazing. Well, it looks absolutely beautiful in the video. And what strikes me as well is your gorgeous groomswear. I mean, both of you just look stunning. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So I'm fashion mad. I always have been. So I really didn't want to do the typical Irish groom's suit experience. And like, I've nothing against obviously what most Irish grooms do. And there are fabulous men's suits shops in Dublin that most of them use. Like, there's 3 or 4 of them that kind of have a monopoly on the space for grooms in Ireland. And it just wasn't for me. So loads of research, and basically I made this really distinct plan. So all of the designers' new collections were going to be revealed at the end of December, and our wedding was June. So we had to wait 3 years, by the way, to get the June bank holiday weekend in the Bastille de Roy.
Okay, so your proposal was 3 years before your wedding.
We had a 3-year engagement.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
That must have been fun all the same.
But like, I was like, feck it. I loved being engaged. It was
Yeah.
just loads of fun. Like, there was no
Loads
rush.
of parties.
Yeah. And we really wanted the June bank holiday. One,
Yeah.
because it's a bank holiday at home,
Yeah.
easier for all our guests.
Yeah.
But 2, it wasn't supposed to be too hot, because it's
Yes,
still June.
Still May.
So
May
like, they're
June.
like, you can have August 4th. And we're like, nah.
Yeah.
We'd all be
Too
dying.
crazy. Too
Yeah, so
crazy.
it was worth the wait if you can.
Yeah.
But back to suits, or tuxes. So
Yeah.
designer collections are coming out end of December,
Mm-hmm.
and the reason that was important was I didn't want their autumn winter collections way too heavy for the south of France.
Yeah.
So I was waiting for the spring summer tuxes.
Yeah.
And then I knew I had my short list. Now, who knew what was going to happen until the collections were revealed? But I knew my favorites were like Dior, Valentino, like Prada, like I Gucci. I was obsessed. I was literally like on my computer waiting for them to drop. And then one of my groomsmaids, Evelyn, booked the most incredible day in London at the end of January. All my groom's party and my sister, she was in it, flew over, and Evelyn had the whole day booked. So we started in Prada, then it was like Valentino, Bottega Veneta, Dior, McQueen, Gucci, blah blah blah. So it's the most unbelievable experience. So you have to go to their Bond Street flagship stores, and then it's booked in with their head stylist. So you arrive to, let's say, Valentino, and you're greeted with champagne. You have a specific time slot, so you can't be late. So we had an hour for each designer. I can't put into words how incredible the experience is. They have all the tuxes ready in like this private showroom, like the champagne, the most beautiful decor. Like it's an incredible day. Like it's a day I'll never forget. And you're not paying for these bookings.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not like a bridal shop where you have to actually like pay in or like, you know, so you can, what
like
what a wonderful thing to do.
Technically anyone could book this
Yeah,
day.
it's gorgeous.
And just buy nothing.
Yeah.
So we whittled down. McQueen was a totally rogue one, by the way. Like, we were about to skip McQueen. I'm not joking you, because it's just not mine, like, you know. Yeah. But we were like, no, fuck it, we'll go in. And as soon as I came out, and they're all on the couch, their champagnes, and like, I come out, and the head stylist is like fixing everything. And like, if it doesn't fit perfectly, they're like pinning you in, you know, to make it look perfect.
Amazing.
And Sarah Burton has obviously now left McQueen, but one of her last designs for McQueen was this tux. And I knew I wanted a classic men's tux, because how handsome is a man in a tux? Like,
stunning.
I wanted to keep that classic.
Yes.
But it had this like hard boning and just really, really different. If you look really closely at it, the shape, the lining, it was just so slick, but still a classic men's tux. But it had this like high fashion edge to it, and just the way it fitted, like they were like, "You look amazing." We were FaceTiming my mum and like all of this.
Gorgeous.
But then I had a number 2 favourite. McQueen was like our third in the day, and then Dior was last to say it was number 10.
Yeah.
And then I was in this incredible tux in Dior, and everyone was like, I don't know what to do. I'm stuck. We're all stuck. So we went for cocktails later, and we were like showing everyone, our waiters, the table beside us, like the 2 options. We knew it was the McQueen or the Dior. Yeah. And then we went back the next day, tried both on again, and it was like, no, the McQueen wins.
Amazing.
It was such a fun trip.
And one was navy and one was black, right? One of you wore navy, one of you wore black.
So you know me in detail. My entire groom's party were in black.
Yeah.
And Shane's entire groom's party were in navy. So Shane's tux was navy with black lapels and black buttons. So it was like the black, oh my God, what word am I looking for? The black flowed into navy. Like it was so beautiful. Shane was like the mix as it flowed through.
Yeah, stunning.
But what I think a lot of Irish men don't realise is I didn't actually spend more by going... than what a lot of Irish men spend on a bespoke suit made in these grooms shops in Dublin. Everyone thinks I probably spent like double what the Irish... I didn't. So like any Irish man, like if you're going to buy an incredible tux, it's your wedding. Yeah. So like people don't realise there wasn't much of a price difference.
That's really interesting. Yeah. And also you had that wonderful day in London where you got all that bespoke... detail and you know, these people just waiting on you hand and foot. I love the sound of that. And what about your dad? He also looks super dapper. Yeah,
oh my God, he looked amazing. So the men's head stylist in Brown Thomas, Jeff, often looks after my dad. And so we went in, we actually made a gorgeous day of it as well. It's one of the best things about a wedding. You've all these gorgeous days in the lead up. So mum and dad flew home from Portugal. We went into Brown Thomas. Jeff had all the options lined up. And he just looked like James Bond in that Tom Ford, whenever he comes up. Yeah. Tom Ford suit. Like that's exactly when he came out. Mum and I were like, James Bond!
Oh, and your mum, tell us about your mum. She also looked stunning.
Yeah, she looked amazing. Yeah. So there she is. In this beautiful, like glittering silver, cream and gold gown. She found it like randomly in a boutique in Marbella.
Amazing.
Tried it on with her girlfriends, and it was actually her backup gown for ages.
Okay.
And she kept trying to find something else. Yeah. But then nothing beat the Marbella gown. And then like once she put it on for me, we were like, this is perfect. Like, why is this your backup gown?
Amazing. And the bag?
Yeah, her bag. Oh my God. We got that together. Another outing.
Great.
There
London
she is.
Or Dublin?
We actually got her bag in Lisbon. So they live in Portugal. So we drove up to Lisbon And it was a limited edition Dior. Stunning. Yeah, she looked amazing.
She looked amazing. And tell us about the other details then of the day. I mean, obviously, like I noticed you've got incredible bespoke napkins, and you've got all this, you know, obviously the florals and the garden, the champagne garden, and, you know, how did that all come together? Did you have a mood board?
Oh, Ciara, I could go on and on. So obviously I work in PR and run events all the time, and like I'm obsessed with the detail of an event. And have gotten worse over time. So like planning my own wedding, you could only imagine how much I drove the wedding planners insane. Like I'd be like, yeah, okay, the Laurent Perrier champagne buckets in the champagne garden, but like where will they be sitting on the champagne table? Like the detail I wanted, like I drove everyone crazy. So like, God, where to begin? So our main colour palette theme was green. So we had the most insane wedding chart where you find out where you're sitting at the tables. It was like these lush big green velvet curtains folded like this. And then the seating chart was just stunning, done in such a different way. Like I love doing things like a bit different, of course. So green was like the predominant colour theme. So I'm just trying to think what, like, the amount of detail. Where will I start?
Golly. I noticed the napkins.
Yeah, so we had
Very Taylor Swift coded.
Did she do that as
well? Well, she did it after you. She clearly saw your pictures first.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So we had a wedding logo designed, and they were hand embroidered into our napkins, and then the way our wedding designer, who was different to our wedding planners, like, yeah, God, the amount of people there on the day. But our wedding designer was phenomenal. Like, obviously I'm one for detail, but I'm not the one, you know, placing floating candles in the pool and
gorgeous,
like the intricate greenery flowing up all of the tables. Yeah. Like, so we booked Irish event design company Wild. They're called Wild Events. Mm-hmm. Run by Kathy McGovern. I have to give her a shout out. She's incredible. So we started meeting wedding designers in France that our wedding planners were booking us in with. And like, I work with Kathy on like 8 out of 10 of my PR events. And I just was like, like in my head, you're not Kathy.
Okay, yeah.
And then I begged Kathy, long story short, would she fly to France?
Oh, yeah.
Now it was
sure she was delighted.
Yeah, I know. But like all the greenery, all the moss. Like at one point I noticed asparagus was in the greenery running up the tables. Like, Kathy is insane. She had to, like, I actually kind of think this was illegal, but fact is, she had to you couldn't get moss in France. It's too hot. So she had to get the moss from Ireland.
Wow. Amazing.
So she had all this like suitcases and suitcases of moss shipped to Antibes.
That's amazing.
Like Kathy, like all the bridesmaids' peonies, she had to have in fridges all day because I was adamant the peonies had to be closed. Because they're so much prettier when they're closed. So like they had to be taken out in fridges only like seconds before. Amazing. Like the detail. You should have seen the wedding planners' running orders were like these long books.
Yeah, goodness.
But Kathy flew over and like she was in French fields, like national parks, like pulling branches and like weeds and greenery.
Gorgeous.
Oh my God.
So there was a real mix of local French plants and flowers, and then the Irish.
Literally. Because Shane and I knew, now I always have said to couples since, play to your strengths. So like Shane is a musician. He did everything music, which was a huge part of the wedding. So there was so much of that. And then I did everything design. Yeah. So like we both knew we didn't want the typical wedding bouquets, wedding florals, wedding... Now, again, I've nothing against them. I've been to so many weddings where that's stunning, but like flower arches and like big, like wedding flower displays, we wanted none of that. Yeah. It was all like weeds, moss, foliage, gorgeous. like running up the aisle. We had like wheat coming out of moss and stuff. So but which is just very much my taste versus like the big bouquets. But like, to each their own.
Yeah, stunning. Well, you got to find your own style. Yeah. That is definitely the name of the game. And then tell me about, was there like a moment which was just amazing? Like there always be so many moments, but was there something that really stands out that you think back and you think, oh, that was just gorgeous?
Sorry, I'm being thick. Do we mean
Sorry.
like my enjoyment or design?
Okay, was there a standout moment of the day where you think back and you think, oh, wow, I really wowed my guests at that point?
Wowed my guests. Okay, one jumps to mind immediately. Actually, two things, if that's allowed. One thing guests keep saying to me that I'm obsessed with is, now this depends on your venue, but we had so many different gardens, so the guests kept moving. So the welcome garden was real like Versailles vibes, all these mazes and fountains, and no one can see the Bastide yet. The guests were only shown the actual Bastide building and the incredible big long tables at the end. And the way the venue does it's also carefully hidden on purpose. So the arrival, and Shane and I, with our bridesmaids, our groomsmaids, were up at the top windows of the Bastide, staring down at everyone as they were like in the welcome garden, which was so funny because they couldn't see us. And we refused to serve alcohol in the welcome garden. Which is, I'm glad we made that choice. Everyone was kind of raging, where's my champagne? But there was so much to come. So they only had like lavender spritz and like lovely non-alcoholic drinks in the welcome garden. So they were kind of wandering around that for an hour, mazes, like mingling. And then all these gorgeous French girls then brought them into the ceremony garden, which again is just so stunning. Like we barely needed to add much to that. Like the vast majority of weddings at this venue are American. And by God, do they love the over-the-top flower arches. And like, we felt they were actually covering a lot of the natural beauty of the ceremony garden. Like it has this ancient statue down the back, the most beautiful trees and greenery. So we were like, why would we be adding a flower arch covering this? And then after the ceremony garden, they were led into what we nicknamed the champagne garden, because it was just champagne and... we had a string quartet in there, and then finally after the champagne garden, they were led into the finally reveal of the tables, the reveal of the venue. So having 4 different areas really like broke it up.
Gorgeous, yeah.
And it almost gives you're revived or something because you're moving.
Yeah, you're keeping it interesting. You're
new
moving
surroundings.
Along.
Yeah,
it's certainly different to the sort of the kind of the church up the back lane and then the trip to the local hotel and it's definitely, you're giving people a real experience.
Yeah, and then the reveal of the tables and you could literally hear the which was so fun.
And one of your photographs, you have a stunning it's like an explosion of fireworks behind yourselves, you and Shane. Tell me about that.
Yeah. So I turned around to our chief wedding planner, Niamh Costello, who I just have to give a shout out to. She was a powerhouse, phenomenal Irish woman who runs her company in Cannes. And I turned around to Niamh pretty close to the wedding. It was only like a month before. And I was like, Niamh, is this wow enough? And Niamh was like, are you insane? It's so wow. And I was like, I don't know. Like, what could we add for a real wow moment? And Niamh was like, what do you think about dry fireworks? And I don't even think I knew what dry fireworks were. And then obviously she sent me links. And I was very like, yeah, like how fun. Because you can do them as a surprise, of course. And like a couple of people in my family, Shane, was like, is this a bit of like American tacky? Like... and
it looks stunning.
It was stunning.
Amazing.
We were really, a lot of people were like, is this borderline tacky? And I have to say, everyone adored it. So it was so meticulously planned that at the end
At what point did you do the fireworks? Did the fireworks go off? Like
Yeah.
After speeches, after dinner?
So at the end of Shane's speech, I didn't make a speech. We were so conscious about speeches, 1 being split up and 2 not being many of them. So I didn't make a speech at all. Shane was enough. So at the end of Shane's speech, it was so meticulously planned. There was 4 French guys, lying on the grass. The guests couldn't see them, behind the pool, lying there, ready for the dry fireworks. So like no one knew this, obviously. And once Shane's speech was over, this was what was all planned in advance. He took my hand, lifted me up, and all the wedding planner teams and all their staff, they all had these headsets. So they're all being like okay, he's taking his hand, because that was the cue. And then Shane lifted me up. We went in for a kiss, and boom, they went
Amazing.
off. They literally go.
That's so cool.
And you can just hear the audience, the guests scream, like actually scream. And they went off directly behind Shane and I as we kissed. So it was the most slick. I highly recommend it. It was so slick.
Iconic moment. Amazing.
Yeah, and a real surprise.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Absolutely gorgeous. And the pics look amazing. And what about any other moments for you, memorable moments, like getting ready or anything that stands out, like for your own kind of personal memories?
Getting ready was actually so lovely, and I was so chilled. Like, hand on my heart, there was no bridezilla here at all. I was literally sauntering around, and like, we got ready in the villa my parents had rented, and then all got buses up. And like, I suppose it is easier for men. Like, we're like, because I was tanned from France, so we were like, do the hair, get into your tux. It is easier, obviously.
One and done.
We were so chilled. So I really enjoyed that whole part of the day with like your best friends and your parents and sauntering around this French royal mansion like it's your own for the day.
Stunning.
So that was gorgeous. But the real standout moment for me in terms of like my own enjoyment was when, so obviously after the champagne garden, the wedding planning team like grabbed Shane and I and hid us in the Bastide, which was actually lovely. It was a lovely moment for us. We got to just kind of watch everyone from the windows, and like, it's important to grab your partner and remember why you're there, because you can just get caught up in your guests and the event, whereas like, it's your wedding day. So it was actually lovely for Shane and I to have that moment and have like a little kiss and like hold hands and just stand at the windows watching our guests, and then we got to see them like being the table reveal, and it was lovely to be like spying on them from the windows. But then once they're all seated, you know, the usual ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for your grooms. And we had this really slick French saxophone player burst out of the Bastide. Well, sorry, this was obviously after our grooms parties did theirs, and then it was like the song changed, and it was the one moment we really leaned into like like flamboyant gay. We had ABBA's Gimme Gimme Gimme, because it went so bloody well with the saxophone. So he bursted out of the big main entrance of the Bastide, everyone standing up, swinging the serviettes, and then Shane and I had to follow him. But the way, it almost happened by accident, the way our tables were 4 big long tables, everyone was like standing up and standing on chairs and formed these tunnels between each table. It honestly happened like organically. And Shane and I had to run through each tunnel of our favourite people in the whole world. So all our best friends, all our family formed these like love tunnels. Shane and I had to run through, and it was just like, you're seeing like that best friend and that school friend and like, you know, that auntie, and it was amazing.
Oh, I love the sound of that. I love that you also, like, you flipped a few of the routine things on their head. As you say, you didn't do the florals and the, you know, the speeches were sort of mixed up. And what about the guest list? How did you plan, like, the, you know, whether or not to bring children, for instance? That's always a bit of a question at a wedding. What did you decide?
So because I wanted the 4 long tables, we were tight on numbers. You can get a lot more in if we did the round tables. But I was like, no, 4 long tables is so much more aesthetically wow. So we were capped at around like 150. We had 150 on the button. So like, we couldn't even invite like cousins and stuff. Like, it was tough. But we got there, obviously. And yeah, I very rigidly made a no kids rule. And like, to be honest, every single parent best friend of mine was thrilled. Weekend away without the kids.
Yeah. That's an
yeah,
excuse.
I just didn't want kids there. Like, you know, to each their own. It was an adult moment.
Yeah. And also, as you say, it gave all those parents like a lovely reason to take off for the weekend. And did most people, I presume most people made a weekend of it. I mean, you had a rehearsal dinner and a day too. So that was all part of it, wasn't it? So you had a weekend, yeah. Yeah,
and like, we were so lucky. The June bank holiday, apparently, and if anyone knows this, it's one fab day, is the most sought after weekend in Ireland for weddings. So like, there multiple other weddings were announced that later that loads of our guests were invited to, and they had to pick, because the June bank holiday weekend is so popular for weddings. But because we were engaged 3 years, we were in first.
There was nobody getting away without
And big gay wedding in the south of France. They were all like, we're going to yours anyway.
in the diary for sure. Amazing. So was there anything, it sounds like just the most stunning weekend. Can you think of anything that you would, like, tip-wise say to our readers, like anything you'd say do differently, or anything that you could think back and go, oh, could have done that differently, or any tips, any advice?
Oh my God. Yeah. Okay. What jumps to mind first? Because I work in PR and run so many events, really early on when we were engaged, I had this ridiculous attitude of like, do we even need a wedding planner? Like, I can do this. Oh my God. The only reason our wedding was so fab in the end was our wedding planner. So like, one area I highly recommend not scrimping on is your wedding planner. It is everything. Like, the most intricate detail, how everything works so seamlessly. I can't even put into words how much work they put in. We ended up having 2 wedding planning companies. Don't ask me why in the end. But one of them, Niamh Costello, and her company NERC were chief. Like, they were the bosses. So like, Niamh was head honcho. Like, everything from sound to design, like every intricate detail. One area I would never scrimp on if I was to ever get married again is the wedding planner. Yeah.
Even for weddings in Ireland, like, even for, is that more of a destination?
I mean, logically, yeah, it's more important for destination because we have no relationships in France. Like, we don't speak French. Who the hell do we know to rent chairs off, or get napkins embroidered and you name it. But I still think if I was getting married in Ireland, like, they just elevated so much to the next level through their brilliance, through their contacts, through their eye. Like, it's definitely my biggest learning. Yeah. But there's loads of areas that I could go on about. Like one, Shane and I are massive cocktail fans. We don't have a pint or a beer. We're such gays. So we're such cocktail fans, and wine. So the summer before our wedding, we spent 2 weeks driving through France to pick our wedding wine. Now, that was our big trip of that year. We got Ireland in there with Chateau Lacoste, an Irish rosé we chose from Provence. But one area we wouldn't scrimp on was the cocktail bar, because we're such cocktail fiends. Yeah. So they were incredible. So they had 2 different bars with our big logo on it, or an S, like the detail.
Your logo. Tell us about the logo, by the way.
Yeah, we got that made by an Irish designer, Laney Designs. She also did our printed invites.
Stunning. Yeah.
So it was a big or an S. God, the amount of versions of this. Poor Holly, who owns it. I'd say there was 25 versions.
Wow.
Like, I was that difficult.
Yeah.
But eventually it was like French lavender coming out of greenery, the big or an S. Like, it was beautiful. Yeah. So that was kind of
and that was on a cocktail, I noticed as well.
It was everywhere.
Yeah.
It was on the cocktail bars. It was embroidered into the serviettes. Yeah. It was printed on the menus and everyone's table setting. We scrapped traditional desserts, and it was done out of chocolate on espresso martinis.
Beautiful.
So everyone was brought, I don't know how they planned this, but everyone was brought an espresso martini at the same time at the end of the dinner. We wanted it as a big kick up the arse for everyone. Like, get people
dancing.
The hit of energy. Yeah. Before the dance floor, exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, our cocktail bar was amazing. Like, they do the Cannes Film Festival, they do the Amphar Gala, all these things around Antibes. So they're like flipping things in the air, and like, they were all like these gorgeous French people. But they were so fast. Yeah. So like, you could order anything you wanted, a Negroni, a spicy margarita, anything. And they were the most incredible quality, but they were turning them around. Like, Irish, we have to keep being like, Irish wedding.
Come on.
We're not French.
I love that. So, thank you so much for telling us all about the day. Is there anything now that you haven't told anyone else that you want to tell us confidentially? I suppose, yeah. One thing I haven't said on Instagram anywhere is, I suppose, because you want to just be positive, is people don't know that actually we did have one big hiccup on the day. But like, you're warned in advance, something will happen.
every single bride or groom I talk to pre-wedding is like, Rob, something will happen. And just roll with it. And like, even though we had 2 wedding planning teams, what felt like 60 staff, headsets, something was going to happen. And the one thing that did happen was halfway through the ceremony. So the first half of the ceremony was perfect, nothing going wrong, so beautiful. Shout out to James Kavanagh, actually. He did the most unbelievable best friend reading speech that he hand wrote himself. We were all laughing, crying, and nothing went wrong. And then after James, the drone went up. Obviously our videographer crew, the drone went up anyway, and the next thing, the mics for the whole ceremony, our celebrant, the singers, everything in, out. So it was like, you'd hear, and Rob and Shane, and then it would go, and then it would be like, the engagement was, and it was just in, out, and I'm on the chair at the top of the aisle being like, what's happening? And it was such a pity because we had a whole company there just for AV and sound, nothing else.
That's so disappointing.
And like, I can't tell you.
And also just to be sitting there on your, this on your wedding day, and you're like
there was like 4 of them and a whole sound desk.
Yeah.
And then like mics in, out for the singers and everything. And
did you get it fixed? Did it was a glitch and then it just worked again?
Well, this was probably the worst part actually. So I couldn't even tell you how much we spent on AV. Whatever you have in your head, triple it. Because Riviera money, they all just go, Riviera. It just turns into Monopoly money. So like, anyway, no one fixed it. We had to power through the second half of the ceremony, in, out. And that was, I'm sitting there at the top of the aisle being like, how is no one doing anything? Anyway, look, you have to just, something happens. We had the most incredible friend choir, which was a surprise to me. So Shane organised everything music. So like, we're sitting at the top of the aisle, and the next thing the celebrant announced the friend choir, and I'm like, what friend choir? And the next thing I'm seeing like Hannah Saunders and like one of my best friends, Vicky Sargent, and all these people just stand up randomly from their seats and all start making their way to the front. And I'm like, what is happening? And they sang a bunch of gorgeous songs that really mean something to Shane and I, and like all these different harmonies. Stunning. So like, they had rehearsed twice in Dublin, and then Shane and a couple of his best friends who are musicians sent videos as well, because they had to master all their harmonies. It was unreal.
I love the sound of that.
So like, look, the mics going in and out and the sound going in and out, it was annoying, particularly as we'd spent so bloody much on sound. But like, you have to, it was still incredible.
Yeah, that's a minor thing in the grand scheme of things.
The garden was small enough that like, you could still hear.
Well, that's it.
Yeah. And like, I was annoyed afterwards. And Shane took me up to the Bastide, and we had a moment. And like, the wedding planners were running in, and like, the biggest thing is, don't let anything ruin your day.
Yeah.
Like, it goes like
Move
that.
on. Yeah.
Like, everyone tells you how quickly it goes, and like, it really does. Like, a blink of an eye and it's over.
Of course it is.
So the last thing you want is getting hung up on something that went wrong, because then you're actually just prolonging the negativity of that thing that went wrong. Because like, I'm like pissed off while we're enjoying the champagne garden, which we only have for another like 30 minutes.
I know. Wow. So it's a real kind of zen moment where you just got to snap out of it.
You have to kick yourself up the arse and be like, snap out of it.
Yeah.
And then nothing else went wrong. Everything else was like meticulously done to a T with our incredible wedding planners.
Yeah.
So like, something goes wrong, our mics were in and out. Who cares?
Yeah. Who cares at the end of the day? It was absolutely stunning. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. It's just been gorgeous listening to the whole thing.